Bruce, back at ya. Targeted wealth. Okay, let me get what I need here for you folks. Okay. Not even the right spot. Let me get into May. Okay, what did we do? Yesterday, 6-4. Happy Declaration Day, everybody. We're 2 hours and 40 minutes away. All right, so 23.94 is what Coney moved up to, 2.88. We didn't keep up. We got a little more than half of coins movement to 244.2, so they were up 5.3%. We were up 2.8%. Here's our intraday trade. So again, we sold some activities, right? We sold similar to Ybit, if you watch that. And what they're doing is they're positioning for cash, right? They may still roll. Remember, they're going to declare today, and then that makes the value go down, right, on the fund the next day, which is ex-dividend on Thursday the 6th. Then they pay, so they need to get ready for that cash. So this is a preliminary. Tomorrow will be the big role or position they need to take. So let me explain to you where Coney is and tell you what likely they'll do. But mainly you care about what they're going to pay, and that didn't change much. If anything, it got more confusing, but I'll get into that. Okay, so they sold a call that they normally buy, so they closed out 450 contracts on their synthetic, and we got more money. Well, we had to buy these back, and we sold these, so we collected a little bit more money, okay, on this scenario. And then we bought these back, and we lost. We sold them for 305 and bought them back on 715. But it looks like Bitcoin is breaking out to some degree. It's certainly moving up pre-market yesterday, so I don't blame them for taking that off the table. So let's reflect what happens. This number was 2100 previously, right? So I made this go down to 1650 and just left it alone, right? So they sold everything. Normally they sold 21. Then I showed the 450, right, as a separate entity. They collected 305 on it. This really was back at this date. And now they closed it out at 715. So you can see they collected 137 on this 450, and they had to pay 321. Right, so they lost a good chunk of change on that, but when you look, the 9 million is here, right? And they're in jeopardy of getting blown out on that guy and costing them big. The good news is the synthetic is soaring, right? So they now have 7 million more in cash, and they're going to need a lot more than that. They're going to need about 30 million to pay us. So they're going to have to cash out their, they're going to have to roll their 230 synthetic. So let's go talk about everything. So we talked about that. Let's look at it from the weekly perspective, right? So this is what's left. This had been 2100. It's reduced by 450. Well, I should show you the synthetic. Okay. I always leave that out sometimes. So this is the minus 450, right? So we bought the call back, and we buy calls, and then when we want to close the position, we sell them. We sell puts, and we want to close the position, we buy them back. Okay. So they bought this back for 768,000, and they sold this. So that lowered our loss, right, from 8.1 to, 8.8 to 8.1. Positive numbers are a loss. We want it to go negative up here. We want this number to be positive, right? So let me double check this. I may not have updated this one. I did, and nope, 33. I updated the bottom number and not the top number. But this one doesn't show so much as the others do because we've got some duplicate stuff here. Okay, so yeah, that shows in my holdings exactly. We have 42 million, right? But when I show you back on the weeklies and in holdings, we're hurting, right? So on this alone, we brought down our number, right? Now the shares also went up, but they're not putting on more because they want to save that cash. More trades. They're actually closing some, and they're closing some things that's at risk. So that's positive. They moved up to 26,175. Clearly not the 1,875,000, but it's a respectable 3%, 275,000. All right, this is our place where we can see it all. I love this, the way I've organized this and put in some fields. And to me, I look at this one page and I can tell you everything going on. It's got our synthetics. It's got our weeklies. It's got the closing price. Okay, this is just a bunch of cash. Do you really care? It's needed. It's collateral to do all these fancy synthetics and naked calls, right? Think of it as margin fulfillment, collateral. So look at this number, same number on the weekly. Why? Because we moved up. We were at 230 yesterday, right? And then we closed up 230 or 231 and we closed up to 244. So all of that movement up just made this number go up and this number go down, right? Because as we get closer and closer, we're still, 6 weeks away. So they'll roll to a better number. They'll roll to a 235, a 240, a 250 or something, and they'll collect this 42 million, and we're going to need it, okay? Because look what's happening down here. All right, so we sold 24,000 at 235, and at the time we were at like 220. So we collected, a few bucks, but not $12. So it's setting at 12 right now. And let's take a look at, this is our chart on our synthetic. Look how nice that is. We had 20 million, then all of a sudden we had, 5 million loss. Then we got a gain, and now we got a big gain, right? The biggest we've had in a while. But we're getting killed on that. So it's the yin and yang, right? And you want these things slowly, but that's not how crypto runs when it runs. Let's take a look at coin. So coin's no worse, right? So here's coin. We're at 246 and we closed yesterday at around 244, about here. So we're up, right? This is probably just getting into the pre-market. Yeah, 6. And it's 3.5 hours. I don't know. I don't. Eastern times aren't my gig. So it's getting close to pre-market. But you can see, since coin doesn't trade 24, but BITO does, right? So let's go take, or BITO, God, I'm used to. Let's take a look at BTC. BITO, or BTC trades. Look at, we got up to 72. We're still 71.5, right? This dotted line is the midnight hour. So this is the end of the day trading here. So you can still see it's up, right? So that's trending. So it's positive from one perspective. That perspective is we're not losing alone, right? We were winning our weeklies and we were getting our butts kicked on the synthetic. So let's go over and look. I want to come back to this, but here's our payment, right? So this is where we lost our shirt. We lost our shirt in the synthetics because we couldn't get up to the 230s and 240s, and we were down, and we had to roll out of some of these and take big hits, right? So we eked out 40 cents on our weekly calls, right? Because you can always make money in your weekly calls if you're declining and your underlying is coin. If it's mostly going down several weeks at a time, Heck, when Tesla was doing horrible, right? It still collects weekly. It's just getting killed on the synthetics. So your NAV starts getting reduced. You know, we're kind of lucky. We're hanging in there. So this is a big favor if they pay us $1.22, because we've got 42 million here, but we're facing 30 million right now in buying back the synthetics, right? So I'm going to go over back to the holdings and show you that. That's what I mean by yin and yang. So they're doing us a favor if they pay us $1.22. They're going to pay us $1 minimum, I think. And it could well be the $1.22. All right, so let's go to holdings just to talk about this a little more. So when it costs you 29 million, okay, to buy something back that you paid 9 million for, that's a 20 million loss, right? This one you collected 503,000, not quite as bad because it's a 245, right? And we're only at 244, you know, 247 in the pre-market. So if this thing ends up at the week at 245, we lose our, you know, 500,000, but it doesn't cost us $1 million, right? We just have to give the 500 back. And if we drop below 244, we get to keep the 500,000. This is the one that's hurting us, right? It's a 235. So 244, you know, there's the 9 million. There's a little bit of premium in there, right? This shouldn't really be 12. This should be 9. If it goes to Friday at 244, this is only going to be 9. But so what? Look at that, right? Make it 9.2 and look at it. It's still 22 million, right? So that's the problem. That's that yin and yang. You know, they put these naked calls 5%, 6 or 7%, and then when Bitcoin runs, they're just trying to collect money. Besides just going long on this synthetic and waiting a month to find out if you're winning or having to roll when they don't really want to roll. And so they put the synthetic in, but it kills you a lot of times. Like I said, I think they ought to have a high call, a small volume of them setting out there at 15 or 20% out of the money, just as a little bit of a protection when it really runs. So my thoughts, you know, on it. I don't know if they'll adapt that. That'd be a great question for Jay, though. Great question. Okay, so here's it reflected. It's 42. So that's what I got for you. I'm not going to keep you guys long. We got declaration to get to. So, you know, $1.22 is great. $1 I'll take. I mean, you know my position. You know, a week ago I moved a considerable amount of my shares in the 3 accounts I have into Misty, right? And then I additionally bought a lot of YBIT, right? I own some GDXY, but since it's not paying and it's down, and it'll probably be down for another week, I got time to buy that with dividends and stuff and payouts, because I haven't been dripping, because I got a lot in tax deferred. I haven't been dripping even in my taxable, but that's a much smaller portion. Okay guys, that's what I got. Bruce signing out. Good luck to all of us. I will do a video shortly after the payouts come, do a comparison prediction, and what I had, I'll make it fast. I'll do your favorite funds right away. I'll just hit them, right? I'll look at the sheet and I'll call out YBIT, I'll call out Coney, I'll call out Misty. Okay, GDXY is not going to pay. And then I'll go into the others in case you're driving and you want to hear it. All right, Bruce out, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Thank you to all the new subscribers and all my loyal guys. You guys will always have my heart, because those that have been with me, and you know, I'll be monetized very shortly, probably within a week to 10 days. And it's all because of your support, your positive comments. Love you all. Keep it up. I'll keep it up on my end. Okay, see ya. Bye.